been scarred and I've been bruised. I have learned just what to do. I need to leave my past behind me. I need to look to the future. No matter what will come, no matter what I've done, I know just what to do. And that's all because of you.
Hello, you okay, family? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Z Mavumengwana, and I'm the face behind You Okay, your favorite personal development and mental health channel. As you can see on the screen today, we've got something that is a bit closer to the personal development side of things, and I am doing it alongside someone I will introduce to you shortly, just to give you a bit of context into why this topic, why this guest. You know, society has a tendency to ascribe to us conditions or rules through which we obtain worthiness or acceptance, and those are very important to us because worthiness, belonging are very, very fundamental things to human functioning. So we normally screen out very early, what condition do I need to meet in order to obtain that worthiness, to obtain that support, and to obtain that acceptance. Biasly so, academia has emerged to be one of those things that if you get it right here, society will reward you, will applaud you, will praise you, and will accept you. So much that it has led us to thinly define our lives, and therefore consequently our lives have thin outcomes because we normally just have one identity, the one that is supported the most and the one that is praised the most. And I've brought a person who transformed my kind of thinking when it comes to this bias, because I also thought the system rewards me, the system likes me, and I want to be honorable to the system, so much that I completely ignored everything else that I was good at because I wanted to be good at just that. So if you're good at one thing, today's show is to give you permission to be good at other things too. Or if you're not good at that thing, to acknowledge that you are good at alternatives and they are equally worthy. I'm bringing a guest that has taught me this lesson through his works and through things that he does, and to give you a bit of context in terms of how diverse the things he has done it, but how consistently brilliant he has been in all of them. When I met him, he was the team physician for the under-20s of our national team, and while I thought, oh, okay, sports medicine, you're a doctor, you're a team physician, that's what you do, I learned that he's an athlete as well. And shortly after that, I learned that he was the chairperson for the health policy portfolio of South African Medical Association, shortly known as SAMA. And notwithstanding the success of his medical career, very soon after that, he started a private practice in his village at Kokolweni in Mthatha, and now he's in community work. Very soon after that, we founded a health education platform alongside a friend of ours called Sim Talks. He's also one of the founding members of MST Sports, which is a sports consultant company. They were due to launch a footballing academy, but unfortunately, due to COVID, they've deferred that to early next year. What else is he doing? Oh, he's currently the acting clinical head of Mthatha Regional Hospital, and I'm running out of things to introduce this guy. He's a good dad, he's a good friend, and I have it on good authority that he is a good and dependable person in his community as well. Please help me welcome to the couch, Dr. Simthandile Tony, affectionately known as his people as Sim. So good. Welcome to the couch. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Ndiyavulela kakhulu ngendlela ondintroduce ngayo, even though I feel that you magnified a number of things, but thank you very much, and I hope that I will do due diligence too.
Do you feel under pressure because of that profile?
Yes, I do, but I don't think there's anything that you put out that is false, and I want to understand, probably as we continue speaking, get a sense of how you feel that I have made you to feel that you can be brilliant in many things. Because amongst the things that you've said, I'm a medical doctor, yes, I am competent in that way. There are things that I haven't studied for, there are things that I'm doing from the bottom up, and there I'm a novice. You feel that I'm brilliant, but it's a different perspective from my side. So I'd like to understand as we continue speaking, and hopefully as people come in and interact with the show after we put it up, then we get to understand and have a sense of where we are and how we do what we do. Hopefully I'll do justice to what you think I am.
I believe that you will. So how I got to identify you specifically for this topic was actually when I was about to pioneer the YouTube channel. And reflecting on my struggle of doing this, because it seemed non-scholarly. and for the entire duration of my life that I've been at school, I've had consistent feedback and evaluation that is positive, that you are good at this. So much that it crystallized into my identity that you are good at school. So therefore, anything that is non-school isn't something that I was familiar with or something that has ever given me feedback that is positive about myself. It was an anxiety-provoking, unwelcoming, and I suppose a higher chance of rejection there. You know, there's limited number of rejection in my academic spheres because of how predictably I've had that good praise, so much that I can preempt it. It's an academic thing, I can do it. The system has told me so many times that I can do it. It's far more terrifying when you are about to pioneer something else. As you said, you are a novice in other things, but you, maybe subjectively, that hasn't been your experience, but you switch with so much ease from the observer's eye, from one trade into the next, even if you don't have an academic competency in that particular trade. It's like, if it's good and you want to do it, you will do it, no matter how non-linear it is and no matter how much it deviates from the original one that we expect stereotypically from your occupational trade.
Yeah, I think what I gained outside of school. For a long time, I developed the same way you say you developed. I went to school, I was competent at school, competent enough that I could get into med school. But there's a period in life where I left med school and I went to play football. I was competent at football, I could play football. But during that period, I also grew as a human being. I had earlier met a doctor in med school who was teaching us, and she introduced self-actualization. I was never at a point where I felt I had self-actualized then, but I identified with what he said about self-actualization, where you get to know yourself, you get to know what you want to do in life, and as soon as you pursue that, then it's a journey towards self-actualization, and you find yourself there. If you can get to that place where you know where you're going, you know what you want to do, and anywhere on that journey, then you're comfortable. Most of us, this is where we struggle, because I feel we take a very long time to get to know what do we want to do and what do we want to pursue. Then everything else works around what you want to pursue. Whether you become a doctor, you're pursuing the same goal. Whether you become a sports physician, whether you become a summer member, a chairperson of a portfolio committee, whatever you do, you are pursuing that goal. So for me, the first thing after having sat with that guy and listened to him, and he was speaking about the stages of development of a human being, and when he spoke about self-actualization, it's a place I wanted to reach. And fortunately or unfortunately for me, I think I found the journey to be more satisfying than actually getting there. I don't know if I have self-actualized, but I know that I'm enjoying the journey. Because whatever you do, you know you can see where you're going. And then if there's people around you who assist you to get there, and then if you have the necessary support. But sometimes the people that support you might not see what you see. So you have to trust yourself, trust where you are going, then you know you have a goal, you are working towards that goal. Whatever you do is working towards that goal. Then get yourself a support base. Again, I'm fortunate. I grew up in a family where I have a mom, I have a dad, I have an extended family. I know 3 of my grandparents. My dad has 5 siblings, my mom has 6 siblings. We relate, and we relate very well. My cousins, my community, everyone we relate. So I've had a very good experience of community life. I'm raised by a community. Wherever I speak of a community. My parents know this, that I am for the community. So my life has been such that if I were to speak about scaffolding, a ladder. So if you go up on a ladder, you can go up and probably much easier than if you go up the scaffolding. But if you go up in the scaffolding has many layers. The first level, second level, third level. When you're at the 5th level on a scaffolding, you fall, you're likely just to fall onto the 4th level. But if you fall from a ladder, you are going to fall onto the ground.
And the ladder will follow you.
The ladder is likely to follow you. So this is why I'm saying I'm fortunate. So whatever I do, I'm supported by scaffolding because I have these layers
Which are social support
that support whatever I do. I have gone against what society considers a norm.
I was about to ask you that there's a big risk to that. Taking a chance to actually, even if you've got a conviction of what you want to do, especially for the newer emerging kind of professions or alternative things to academia, that risk can be rejection by your own people, especially for Black families where a career isn't just an expression of personality, it's normally a livelihood thing. So they bid for odds that are likely to bring that livelihood. So you kind of look rebellious when you are doing non-linear things that are risky in terms of understanding will they bring that livelihood or not. And to buy your family's acceptance and to provide for them, sometimes it's a safer option to go for the predictable things. Where did you get the guts to just decide you're going to quit med school and go play football? I mean, medicine is a very prestigious profession, one that won't run obsolete. It's one of those things that we're likely to need endlessly. So you think you've nailed your job security by being a doctor, and then jiggy, you quit it. How did you not know my family won't kick me out? How did you not know the people that I love won't reject me? Because those are normally the questions that these people sent you to school. They made an investment, they've got a clear picture in mind, and you want their approval.
Interestingly, that moment when I made the decision, it was when I felt like that I had been released from whatever shackles that had been binding me. When I decided, now I'm leaving med school, I'm going to play football. And I was free for the very, very first time because for most of my life, I was doing what was expected and accepted. I was a top scholar. I should say that from grade 1 to matric, went to med school, struggled a bit, but I still continued, and after struggling and got to understand what the differences between tertiary life and high school, then I coped and then continued well at med school. Then there's a time when I felt like, no, this is not what I want to do. This is my journey, and this is how I'm going to work my journey. My father was a very strong-willed and a strong character, so he imposed a lot of things on us as his children. But that day, I took control of my life, and I said, this is my journey, this is how I'm going to walk it. If I fail, it will be me failing, it won't be my dad failing. So that was my release to say, I'm doing this. It's out of character. Dude, being Ugqirha, I know my dad had expected that I would take some responsibilities off his hand. That's what my parents expected. As soon as you start working, you're a doctor, take these responsibilities. And in Kaya, there's a tradition that Omdala ufundisa the next one, then the next one ufundisa the next one. That's how my parents were raised, not that Obama. So for us, that was the expectation. And I know there's a partner where I don't remember if they had said this to me, that expecting you to deposit a car for me. I know there were such expectations that as soon as you pass, there's this that you're going to take. You are going to release some people from responsibilities and take these responsibilities. Then boom, it's a passion of mine. And unfortunately, when people see football, they see something if we don't go away. You're the only one who wants it. Everyone else doesn't want it. It's not going to benefit us. But for me, there was much more to football than that. But unfortunately, I didn't get to make it as a pro. But what I gained from there is a growth, personal growth, to be able to stand and become responsible without the finances. That's the best part of that. I could live as a pauper. When I played football, I barely made more than 2,000 rands a month. And I was responsible for myself. So I lived on that. I could live on that. And even now I know I can survive on less than 5,000 rands a month. So that gave me a foundation to say, you can try anything. You are free, go and do whatever you like. Just make sure that you do it and do it as well as you can. So now whatever I do is never about the gain. It's about how well I can do that and what my people are going to benefit. Because we're doing this for that reason. It's the same reason I went to med school. when I was interviewed for the position at the medical school, I said, I want my people to benefit because I was raised by them and I want them to. When I went to play soccer, I wanted to see how far can we go in getting into professional soccer, and I found that there is massive hurdles for people from my area if you want to play professional. So I know those are the hurdles that we need to remove. When I went to SAMA, I knew that there's hurdles for Ukri in the workspace. We wanted to remove that. So everything is linked. You want to release something for our people so that their lives improve. So when you do that, you want to do it to the best of your abilities. And what you need to do is prepare. As a doctor, I'm 10 years experience. I have 10 years of experience. So it's not the same as when I started. I was a novice at some point. I was in 10. And even then, when people from my community went to the hospital, they thought, yo, here's a doctor doing. But at that stage, I was a novice. I was an intern. All I did was run around and do bloods, and I was that. So that is what I was doing. But people don't see that. They see you as a doctor. They see you that you are excellent at what you're doing. You are at that level. But you have to go through that. I think there's a video that you did that says at some level, you are a novice. You must stay the course so that you move from there and get to excellence. And excellence is not the destination, it's the journey. So you can be an excellent novice. You can be an excellent someone with a few years of experience. Then you can be an excellent someone with a lot of experience. So this is what is happening. You can see there's people with 15 years of experience, but you wouldn't describe them as excellent because it's a state of mind. It's what you want for yourself, and it's how you relate with people. So that is what drives more than what you get. I can be on the job and getting the wrong kind of experience. So in whatever you do, it's what's driving you. So it's personal, it's inbuilt, and I hope that people get to understand that. And no one can give that to you. You have to give it to yourself. You have to understand you won't sleep. If it's something you don't know and you have to prepare, it means you must spend sleepless nights. But if you've done it, like I just had a conversation with my aunt now, she's very experienced. She's been doing some work for the past 15 years. So she can speak to you without having prepared anything. But if I were to have this, to share the same thing with someone else, I have to go back and read and see what she referenced and call her again, maybe 2 or 3 times. So we're at different stages in our lives, but we need to maintain the same drive. Then I think we'll get to what you think I am. I feel I'm nothing of what you are saying because I'm a novice at being a board member. I'm a novice at running a sports team. We're a novice at setting up an academy. We're struggling to set up an academy because we are novices at that. But we are going to do that because you always have somewhere you can refer to. As long as you refer, network, talk to people, don't be shy. Network, there's someone who knows what you want to know. Speak to people.
An important question, as much as the alignment brought you relief and as much as the resonance that, okay, this is what I really want to do was internally rewarding, even things that are greatly aligned don't come without challenges. And sometimes for people that told you, but this is a mistake, how do you prevent yourself from not believing these challenges are indeed evidence that you made a mistake? Because you clearly continued, so it means despite encountering those challenges, you persisted. But how does one prevent that? Because alternative things, typically you're pioneering them. There isn't a lot of models to point at what ubani wayenza wayigqiba and ndiyayazi bayenzwa kanjani. So how do you know when you encounter a bump, ayiyo laa nto wawuyixelele uba ayizusebenza le nto?
The biggest thing for me was understanding that the mistake was not the choice that I made. The mistake is in executing the choice. So you will make mistakes in executing. Experienced people make mistakes. But the choice, you've sat down, you've decided I'm moving this way. So the choice can never be a mistake. You can't make a mistake by choosing. If I choose that I like someone, that is not a mistake. But in how we execute that, we make mistakes, and then that you have to review. So most people will want to make you think that your choice was a mistake, instead of focusing on how you've executed that. Planning, most endeavors fail. There's fewer success stories than there's fewer than failures. So most people fail. So regardless of whether you've made the choice that people have decided is good for you, you will still fail at that. But because it's what people like, they will support you and carry you. But as long as you know you are on this journey, you understand your choice. Your choice will never be a mistake. Continue doing that. Plan, and plan well, and then execute against your planning. Most people, myself included, have recently come to understand what strategy is. We skip the planning part, we start by executing. You think of something today, tomorrow you're executing. Or if you have planned, you've seen that there's gaps in your planning, you still want to continue and play and executing because it's a dream to you, and dreams are nice because in our dreams, it's unlikely that we have nightmares. If you have a nightmare, you wake up from your dream. But if you have a nice dream, you do not want to wake up. So it's the same even with reality. If you see that if I start a shop, I'm going to have R1 million, you are going to want to start that shop, regardless of what your planning says. Your planning says, Booty, there's 10 people who've tried to start a shop. They have not, they didn't get R1 million. So because your dream says that. So these are the things that have guided me into, but no, I didn't make a mistake. I've still the decision and right. Let's continue, go back, review, go and plan Okucha, then continue on your journey. And when you plan afresh, you plan with the experience. And this is the experience we want to have. That I tried this, it didn't work, how do I continue? Research and talk to people then. And I like talking to people. I could talk to people on any day. So that's the best part about my character. It has enabled me to access mandated and it over God. God will show his hand. There are people along the way who will help you. There's a new term that I've learned it, that I've recently learned it, pass it forward. If I can mention a few people, to get to under 20, I met Tulaningwe. Met a class in, I went to a class, I wanted to be a specialist sports physician for a Bafana because everyone that I'd seen as a team doctor for Bafana was a general practitioner. I went to school to be a specialist. When I got to school, the first thing that I was told was that you are not going to be a specialist. You will remain a GP. So what I thought I'd get from starting to be a sports physician, I didn't get. But I met Tulan, and through Tulan, I met to manager with under 20s. I met to coach under 20s, and I got to work for the under 20s. And I had met a guy called Udiba while a medical intern. I introduced me to Sama, and from introduction to Sama, I met someone else who took me to the head office, and we worked and we served. So along the way, you have people who are going to carry you and lead you. So this is what is going to happen. If you don't want to relate to people, it's unlikely that you'll ever be successful. Muntu ngabantu. Nami ndingumuntu ngabantu, ngabalo mama baseqokolweni, ndiyoma ngabantu babasama, ndiyoma kwa FIFA apho besikhona World Cup Poland. So there's a lot of people that we've met, and we know that they are going to become useful in the near future. This is why we need to talk to great people. Network.
One last question. Is there a cost to this?
Yep, there's a cost to everything. Time. Okay, let me say resources. Could be time, could be money, could be relations. Pitso Mesimane, I think he recently said he's one of the most successful coaches in South African football. He's missed birthdays, he's missed sharing good times in Napandobatandai. He hardly spends 2 hours during the Christmas with his family. But he had a goal, he wanted to achieve something, so he did that. There's people who lose money. I know someone who said, I've tried to invest in community activities, but I've lost a lot of money. So you might lose money, you must lose relations, and you lose people because people don't see what you see. When you sleep at night, you will see, but you must be able to say, this color amoshbat. You see? And secondly, when you are alone at night with your thoughts, you are comfortable. That's the best part of going on this journey for sexual self-actualization. If you get out on that journey, likelihood is that you will differ with many people who stick to norms. People who stick to norms, they work from 8 to 4, from when they are 24 until they are 65. From 65, they retire with what they have. But people who try this journey, like they fall along the way. From 24, you go to work, after 2 years, you know it's not what you wanted, you go and try again. Maybe you get to what you wanted to do when you're 45. But I promise you, when you retire at 65, how you feel about yourself you'll be much far ahead than the person who retired having done a 4 to 9 job and for a 9 to 5 job and didn't want to do that. There are people who are made for a 9 to 5 job. They want to do that. They will achieve what they want to do. But most people in life don't want a 9 to 5 job. It's an enabler. It's something that you can do for the formative years of your working career. And then you step out and you start to do what you want to do. I'm in a 9 to 5 job, by the way. I'm working there. I'm excited and I'm enjoying that job because it's also along the way of what I want to achieve.
Does it help when you know purpose? Because it looks like although you've done things that look diverse, you've mentioned that you're consistently trying to do the same thing. These are just but a means to do that. I want better odds for my people. I want better odds for my people. Has that helped you place less significance in the vehicle you then use to create better odds for your people?
Yes, and the more you gain experience, the more you get to understand that what you want to achieve, it doesn't have to be achieved in using one vehicle. You can use a lot of projects to achieve the same objective. But when you are younger, your mind is fixated on one thing. It's a dream, you want to do that. But the more people you meet who have experience, who share their experiences with you, then your mind becomes broader. And this is where learning comes in. This is what school is good for. It teaches you to learn and to get information, assimilate it and use it. So if you go to school to learn that 2 plus 2 is equal to 4, then you won't get out of school as much. But if you get to school to know that you can add 2 and with another 2 and get something more, then you get to understand. And if you get to know that if you subtract, you can reduce. Then if you get the principles from school, then how you use them outside, then it's different. I know people who said they studied maths, they don't know why they studied maths. But I know when you're given a theorem that's the thing in theorems. Given this, therefore prove this. It says if it's a right angle, the hypotenuse is a wangangana. If you know that, then you can infer. Even in life, you can infer. You're given a scenario, then you're able to infer. So school does that for us, and then it allows you to pick experiences and use those experiences. But then we're at different levels in life, and we react to things differently. And some people, one disappointment, they never try again. But in life, you learn with time that you will fail. Even the most experienced people. Donald Trump, I believe, he has been toppled as a president. He has the most money. He was a president of the United States. He ran an election that he had won. He failed. So who am I not to fail? I am going to fail. I'm going to fail time and time again, but I'm going to try again. But in failing, you must make sure that your failure, you don't lose the resources that are important. Failing doesn't mean you lose resources. You don't have to lose money, you don't have to lose people. But sometimes when we fail, how we react, we lose money and we lose people, because those are hard to get. Those are resources that are hard to get, and when you lose those, you are likely to get into depression, especially if you don't have support. Then that's where troubles come. So in whatever you do, make sure you protected your people and protect your funds.
You okay, family? We are running out of time. I would have him here time and time again. Sometimes it's such a well of wisdom for me. I enjoy listening to him. I enjoy learning from him. He is consistently brilliant in my eyes, although very non-linear in his execution of things. So as a person who's a very ABC 1, 2, 3 kind of person, it was a breath of fresh air to meet someone accomplish things, even if they start with Z, W, and Y. So he's been a beautiful addition to the quality and diversity of my execution and expression of my talents. Yes, but unfortunately he's run out of time. You can invite him back if you want to, and I'll see if I can beg him on your behalf. Done for the last time. Talk to the UK listeners and say goodbye and mention last words.
Ndiyabulela qhaza bandixolele ndizothetha isiXhosa. Ndiyawuthanda isithetha isiXhosa, but bekuthiwa uthetha isiNgesi so that we can accommodate everyone. But xa ndithetha isiXhosa ndizothi qala umntu ngumntu ngabantu. Never forsake your people. Thethe nabantu. Le nto kuthiwa yi-networking ithetha ukutsho. Okwesibini, you are allowed to fail as long as nje ungazuncama. Akekho umntu ongazange aferish. uzibale noyesu wapika ujudas Iscariot singobani ke thina uyesu wakhetha umntu wakhetha umntu ozomncatsha uyabona wakhetha i-community ozombethelela so ke thina singobani asingothixo we are allowed to fail but masinyamezele senze izinto kuba sizazi uba sifuna ukuthini. And thank you for having me here and
Thank you. I wish you can learn from that map, update, modify, edit, and dismiss as you see fit to come and learn how to modify your own. See you next Tuesday. Thank you.